How y'all doing, and welcome back to Rustic Barbell. I appreciate you checking out the video. Here today I have a kettlebell circuit going on, and it's a bunch of different movements. I try to incorporate a lot of kind of instability type movements nowadays because I just can't lift heavy weights at this point. So I'm like, well, how can I make what I'm doing to become a little more of a challenge? So, I'll challenge my balance, I'll challenge my grip. I'll go through the motion a little bit slower, like I'm going through here, and just try to feel everything. I mean, you can see that me trying to navigate through this movement is like a New York City bike messenger. It's you always have to be aware of what's going on around you and just constantly anticipate every little movement that's happening. And I really enjoy that sort of thing. It gives me a challenge. Again, like I said, I'm not able to go heavy at the moment, so this is just 35-pound weights. Obviously it's pretty light, but doing it bottoms up like this makes it a little bit more of a challenge for my grip. So I'm like, okay, well, I can't go heavy. Well, what can I do to just make this movement a little bit tougher? And here, the bottoms up squat, I'm going to tell you what, is not the easiest thing that I've ever done, but it's a whole lot of fun and I really enjoy it. Squatting with 70 pounds, obviously that's nothing. Holding bells upside down like that just adds a little, puts a little bit more spice into the training, if you will. And it's all I have right now, so I'm taking advantage of every little thing that I can. So that's kind of what the theme of this workout was. I did some squatting, I did some cleans, I did some pressing, I did some rowing, I did some pull-ups, I did all kinds of different things. But I'm just trying to, just do whatever I can. So after I finish the movement, I'm like, all right, what can I do now? And just try to add in a lot of variety. So obviously, it's super lightweight, so I'm trying to go a little bit deeper and just do a little more reps. And also just be really, really still and rigid with my form. I've always had a pretty strong core, which really goes from the shoulders to the hips. And the glutes, lower back is definitely a part of that. So, I play into that strength and do a lot of different movements like this. But again, I'm just trying to add some variety in here and do what I can. So I do enjoy this. This was a day where I didn't have a group that I had to train, so I'm just out here by myself, doing whatever I can. So, at this point, you're kind of wondering how long do I really need to sit and endure listening to him talk about doing the same thing over and over. But really the point of this is just to show different varieties of movements that you may not be doing necessarily. There are so many different things that you can do with, one dumbbell, one barbell, one kettlebell, your body weight. I mean, there's just so many different things that you can be doing. So really the point of all this stuff is just to show you all variety, not to expose you to the tiny little chicken legs and chicken arms. I mean, that really shouldn't be shown in public anyway. However, again, the point of this is just to show you different exercise variations. I tried to keep this bottoms up theme going for the duration of the workout. I'm like, okay, I'm going to work on my grip today. So how can I do that and still get, the rest of my body involved? So this setup for this movement was actually the most difficult part. The movement itself was super easy, but this part, right here, without having those fly off to my side, that was the hardest part of the movement there. The pressing itself is pretty easy. But this does, again, it relies on my grip. It relies on my core. I don't have my feet to be bracing my body. I'm trying not to twist too much. I'm trying to stay pretty flat and straight. And again, I'm just, I picked the 35s to work with today because I knew that it would be light enough. But I also knew on some of these movements it would be a little bit of a challenge. Yeah, that was the hardest part, just getting down into position there. If you've done it before, you know what I mean. Here I'm going into renegade rows, one of my favorite movements. Not a huge fan of doing them with kettlebells. They can be a little bit unstable. I'll do a lot of unstable work if it's, quote unquote safe. These tend to be a little sketchy, so I tend to prefer, heavy dumbbells with these, especially the hexed heads, because it's just a lot more stable when I put it back down to the ground. I have the power blocks to be able to do this with also, but I I'm sure I'm not going to damage them, but a kettlebell I absolutely will not damage, and the dumbbell I won't damage either. So here I'm just doing a couple sets of pull-ups. I'm 50 pounds lighter, so pull-ups for me today are super easy. However, I'm kind of coming back into my strength, so I'm using the band, give myself a little bit of assistance because I want to get some volume in. I don't really want to be straining or struggling on this day. I just want to be getting some work in. And I mean, I milked this workout. I stretched it out over, I think it was a 2-hour period before I was done. This should all really be done in like 45 minutes or something. But I stretched it out on purpose. I wanted to be out in the gym today for, my mental health, really, more than anything. Do I appreciate the fact that that band is, choking me right in the nutsack? Not so much. But I mean, you make the sacrifices where you have to. So I was in no particular order today. Normally I have a pretty, well thought out order of execution, if you will. Today I'm just kind of going about and doing, whatever. Really should have done those pull-ups last for the, the decompressive nature of them. But I'm like, hey, I haven't done rows yet, and I really enjoy rows. And I also just got these CAS handles from Prime Fitness USA, and let me just tell you, those are some of the most comfortable handles I've ever used. And any of you that have been, watching the page or watching the channel for any length of time, you know that I have just a myriad of different handles to choose from. So listen, have a good day. Thanks for watching. Be good to each other. Peace.